Welcome back to the WWE 2K25 MyRise Showcase. Right now I'm just going to upgrade this dude real quick before we hop back into this story mode / I need to figure out what the heck else to do, if there even is anything to do, because I could have just started the next storyline, but I wanted to see if there was anything worth doing over here. And no, it doesn't look like there's anything worth doing on Raw or SmackDown except upgrading the players, so I think I'll just let you guys.
I heard your allies have a big idea for the lead up to Survivor Series?
They do. I'll have them stop by your office to run it by you.
I look forward to the occasion. Have you two come for a friendly chat, or is this some sort of an ambush?
Let's call it a royal decree, because this gentleman and the queen are going after the Unity titles.
You two? Interesting. Not the combination I would have expected. How about I schedule a warm-up match, just to see how this all works?
No warm-ups. With CM Punk gaining power, we just can't stand by. I hate the thought of him at the top. We're here to strip him of control, and we'll start by taking those titles before Survivor Series.
Fair enough. I should warn you, though, Punk is not eager to hand out Unity title shots, especially to a team from WWE.
We figured. What's it going to take?
The word is that the only way for a team from our side to earn a shot at the Unity Championships is in a 4-way tornado tag match at NXT Mutiny. If you want those titles before Survivor Series, you'll have to run through their best teams.
Typical Punk try to wear us down. Seems he forgot us Scots are made of sterner stuff. We'll be ready for anything he throws our way.
Okay. If you want me to make arrangements, I will. But you'll be walking into the lion's den.
Only because the queen hasn't conquered it yet.
Set it up.
Brother. An 8-way intergender tornado tag team match. This is gonna be
it's the
a long one. Put on a pot of coffee, because we might be here a while. Alright, yeah, that's a generic team entrance. Are they all just generic team entrances? So who do we got? Oh, we got Roxanne Perez and who is Shawn Spears. Okay. Interesting team up that they did.
Roxanne Perez and
yeah. Because this game makes so much sense. That is one thing I will always say with their MyRise mode, is whenever they decide to put people in tag teams, there's never any rhyme or reason sometimes. It's just to throw them together and see what happens. But, hey, I can be wrong. This one makes a lot of sense, because they are legitimately married. So for once, they actually made a smart decision.
WWE Universe has expected a classic.
So that's always good. That's just generic. So that's 3. Now, who's the 4th team that I have to deal with? Shayna Baszler, and who's she teaming with? I also like how they did Charlie Dempsey. Alright, this one also just makes sense, because the two of them just like to beat people up. So I can't even get mad at that combination. So the only one that's weird is Roxanne Perez and Shawn Spears. But anyway, and yeah, what else can I deal with? Because I just believe I've covered Shayna Baszler in a previous video. Charlie Dempsey is the son of William Regal. Currently with NXT right now, kind of bouncing around, I guess, trying to find some footing in his faction that he no longer has, and it's been hijacked by a different wrestler in Vince Sinclair, and I just realized I showed their whole entrance, but nobody else's. Oh well, things happen. And Shayna Baszler is just an amazing mixed martial artist. Alright, who else do we have in this? Roxanne Perez, I'm about 80% sure I covered in a previous video with something. She's basically homegrown NXT at this point. trained by Booker T's whole wrestling school, and eventually would go on to face off. Eventually would go on to Ring of Honor, and eventually becoming the first ever Ring of Honor Women's Champion, before the promotion shut down in 2020, because COVID, and then she would try out and get picked up by the WWE. And she's been there ever since, winning everything NXT had to offer at that time, and has now been on the main roster as a part of the Judgment Day. Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano are your typical independent standouts. Gargano, who won everything in NXT. LeRae, I don't think she ever won the women's championship. She won the tag championship with Indy Hartwell while they were split, prior to the NXT women's tag belt being unified with the WWE tag belt. But that was just because, they realized they didn't need both belts. And at the same time, there was also times they didn't really need the initial belt before Triple H took over and actually started using them more frequently. Shawn Spears, another major independent name, was in WWE for a while as Ty Dillinger, where his gimmick was he was a perfect 10, and it did great in NXT, went to the main roster, and did not go over well. So he was released, signed to AEW, and went on a tear there, before being signed back to WWE as Shawn Spears. He's been primarily in NXT, and I think he might end up being there for a while, due to the fact he and Tyler Breeze both run a wrestling school in Florida. So it's easier on him to just be more of a mentor figure in NXT, so he can also run the school. But I can be wrong. He might get a call up with the rest of his faction that's currently the culling. And yeah, this match, this is, like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a long one. This is actually, believe it or not, my fourth time having to record this match, because every single time previously, I lost the match. The first time, because I wasn't flipping my characters between Charlotte and Drew, I ended up, Drew McIntyre ended up tapping out. The second time, nobody broke up the pinfall. And then the third time, the third time it was, again, nobody could break up the pinfall, nobody would kick out when they needed to. So now it's just frustrating. The reason why I don't like these matches is, like I mentioned, you just have all of the chaos, and sometimes you're relying on the computer to try and break up the pinfall you don't want them to break up, or you go to break it up and the game doesn't read it, so you end up having to redo it over and over again. But we're done talking about this. As for right now, this minor hiatus that I've been running, it's just life seems to just get in the way sometimes, and I am not able to record stuff. And that's the sole reason why this video took another few weeks to get out. It's also the fact I had to figure out what I want to keep, what I want to get rid of. And yeah, that's what we're rocking with. But moving on, we'll get it all eventually. What else I want to talk about in this? I figure let's just actually go over the history of NXT a little bit with all the stuff they have coming up in here. Originally, NXT started out in 2011. And it was initially started out as sort of like a game show-esque type of show. So ECW by WWE gets canceled, and they replaced with NXT. NXT is 7 to 8 independent wrestlers or just rookies that WWE has signed, or they just called up, or they decided, yeah, you're good enough to be out of our developmental system, and they would put them with a professional or veteran WWE wrestler, and that wrestler would serve as sort of a mentor figure and guide them to winning various challenges and matches against each other, as well as other WWE superstars who are somewhat lower on the card. Well, the show lasted maybe 3 seasons. Didn't necessarily go over well. So, it got canceled. It ran for like 3 seasons, in which, 3 or 4 seasons. The first season was won by SmackDown commentator Wade Barrett. I couldn't tell you who won the second or third season, but when Barrett won, it turned into this whole big angle where he and the rest of the rookies at the time took over the company. Forgive the brief pause there, I just needed to collect my bearings while playing this match, because like I said, matches like this suck. I don't play these on my own time. Unless, like, I'll watch them because I like the chaos. I'll put them on for background noise, put 8 random people in there, pinner submission, elimination style, and just let it play while I work on other things, because it's going to take forever for them to get it done. But no, back to NXT. Fast forward to about 2014, WWE launches the WWE Network in an effort to get some exclusive content on there. Triple H is tasked with creating a developmental NXT show again, and he turns it into an actual wrestling show where it's a bunch of people designed to get reps in the ring, learn the, we'll say, WWE style of matches, and become that. From there, you got guys like Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Tyler Breeze, Fandango, all those types of guys. Well, eventually, it gets popular and it starts to go more national/international, running events all over the world, kind of opposite WWE, and it starts doing well. So naturally, the owner Vince decides, hey, why don't we move it off the network? When they decide to sell the network to Peacock, put it on USA at the 8 to 10 spot to compete with another company known as AEW. Thus began the Wednesday Night War, which was a one-sided beatdown in favor of AEW. My whole issue with that was you are comparing a flagship show to a developmental show. It wasn't going to win regardless. So eventually Vince sees it as, up, you failed, you couldn't beat the competition, so now I'm taking it over. We're going to move it to Tuesday nights, and we're going to rebrand everything. So they rebranded it to NXT 2.0. A bright, more colorful type version that was really just to show it was different, in the sense that lighter colors. That was it. Now there also could be network interference, among other things that I don't know about, and I will openly admit that I don't know. But they changed up the color patterns to where it's now bright and more inviting instead of black and gold and somewhat intimidating. So that 2.0 facade lasted for about a year. Because during that year, Vince McMahon was forced to step down / retire as CEO and head of creative Triple H took over the creative side. WWE then redoes their whole front office. And for about 6 months, NXT is still running the 2.0 system before their first year celebration. And at the end of that first year celebration, that is when they decide to drop the 2.0, keep the modernized logo for NXT, but revert back to the black and gold colors. Much to a lot of people's happiness, praise? One of those sounds about right. But got that taken care of. So now NXT still bounces on Tuesday night, and it's now more still developmental rather than being a third brand. It was attempted to be like the third brand. They tried to consider the NXT Championship a world championship, but ultimately in the end, it just didn't. I don't think it really could have been seen as a third brand by just the casual WWE fans who don't watch NXT, where they don't, be it they didn't have a network, they don't know anybody on NXT, or they just didn't want to watch it. And of course, the initial plan for, according to Triple H, the initial plan for NXT was to hopefully use that as a breeding ground to get talent, and then branch that all over the world with NXT UK, Japan, Mexico, but, well, everything changed around, and now it's still a developmental brand down here in Orlando where they run shows every Tuesday night. But that's going to do it for a brief history on NXT, and this match is still not done. I don't like this. Give me that kendo stick, Baszler. You know what? Okay, you're in the ring, so you are going to take that, and I am done. Come on, ref, count this out with me. 1, 2, 3. Hallelujah. We're done. We won the match. I will see you next time. Because this recording was almost 40 minutes of me trying to get this stinking match taken care of. Goodbye. Good night.